The best way to learn programming is not to mindlessly follow tutorials, but to build your own projects. YouTube is filled with countless basic projects, but in this video I want to show you something that I actually did instead of telling you things that ChatGPT could generate like other creators. So if you are interested in that, watch till the end of this video. When you are starting to learn to code, I think the best way to get the grasp of all the concepts is to learn visually. And there is no better way to do that than creating games. And obviously you don't have to start with making another GTA. The main benefit of doing the video games is to, as I said, the fact that every change you make will be represented visually. That's cool, but if you don't want to use any engines like Unity or Unreal, making a game will teach you how to even open a window or how to even draw something in this window and how to animate objects. You will also need to save state of the game on the disk, so we will also be forced to learn how to work with files in your chosen language. In Java and C# we have something called serialization that will make saving and reading objects from file almost trivial, and I actually made a tutorial on my channel about that. So if you want to watch it after this video, the link is in the description. If you're a beginner and what I said sounds overwhelming to you, you can start with making very simple console games. Some text-based RPG or maybe chess. Actually, one of my first bigger projects when studying computer science was making console chess. And the next one was creating a GSM network system with GUI and message encoding. That was super hard project, so I don't recommend that. But thanks to my professor, I was forced to do that. You can really have fun with chess and make some interesting chessboard designs using Unicode, like this. This is a really good project that will teach you everything from loops to classes and interfaces. After that, you can go a step further and create some 2D games and pick up some GUI library. In Java that will be Swing, JavaFX, or even lightweight Java game library that the Minecraft is made in. You can like edit, create some simple things like Snake, Pac-Man, but you can really go creative here. If you don't want to go, quote, low level like this, and you're more interested in game development, you could skip this part and go straight to Unity or Unreal and learn the tool that you're actually going to use. But I still recommend you play around without using the game engine, because that will give you deeper knowledge about the stuff that is abstracted in the engine. If you want to go a step further and really go pro, I recommend you to try making your own game engine, or more like library for making games, because when you think of engine you think of something like a Unity or Unreal that has a level editor. And don't get scared just yet, it doesn't have to be like super feature packed. Once a year I have this phase to make my 2D RPG game engine in C++, but I always give up mostly because of lack of time. So don't plan too many features. But if you want to get into creating engines and games in C++, you should check out the Cherno and low-level game dev channels. They create some really great tutorials about that. Okay, we talked about mostly beginners and aspiring game devs, but what about the rest of us? For example, web devs. I believe that the best beginner-friendly project is to create a forum, or like any text-based social media, something like simple version of Reddit. You can really go creative here, but I would start with the basics. So have a platform where users can create posts and comment on them, and have a profile when, for example, they can check some information about them and see their recent activity. This project will teach you everything from setting up the database to storing users and posts. Of course, you need a backend that will handle the requests, and user authentication that you can, of course, use some library to implement, or even better, implement it yourself by using the JWT tokens. And obviously you need a frontend for all of that. As I said, you can go really creative here and add multiple features. Maybe instead of using only text-based posts, learn about rich text and allow users to embed images and videos. Allow users to adjust their profile and message their friends. Add option to login using GitHub or Google. As my final project for Internet Technology class, I made forum for hunters using MySQL, Node.js and React. And it was super fun experience. especially implementing token authentication by hand while also knowing nothing about the React. Team Angular, by the way. You can also try to implement some AI features like AI chat, for example. Or instead of making forum, you can just make some ChatGPT wrapper. And speaking of AI, something for our AI bros. I am not a huge fan of AI, maybe because I was forced to learn about it in university. And as a class assignments, I coded by hand models like perceptron, linear regression, K-nearest neighbors, and K-means algorithms, without using any libraries. And what these mini projects did is teach me how these algorithms work, how to prepare data for them, and how they learn, and what are their applications, strengths, and weaknesses. So what I recommend you to do is to prepare some data set with like two distinct classes and divide it into a training data and test data. Then create a project when you will read and process the data, then implement by hand the models that I told you about before, train them and on training data, and then create charts comparing accuracy of these different models. If two-class classifications are too easy for you, try making multi-class classifications, for example a perceptron layer. In the meantime, you can watch my video about spaghetti code, and till next time create some amazing applications.